Here's a great history lesson that is important for us to know, because then we will understand what some of the Palestinian protesters are shouting when they're going to all of these protests. And it will also share some Islamic history and an understanding, once again, of their culture.
Ever heard protesters shouting Khaybar, Khaybar, Ya Yahud during anti-Israel protests?
Khaybar, Khaybar, Ya Yahud! Jaysh Muhammad, Ya Yahud! Khaybar, Khaybar, Ya Yahud!
Well, when you're gonna get to know the meaning behind it, you're gonna be shocked. Let's take it back to the year 629 in what is today Saudi Arabia. Khaybar was an oasis in the Arabian desert, home to Jewish tribes who had turned barren land into a thriving community. The Jews were farmers, tradesmen, and scholars. At this time, Muhammad had a growing community, but at the same time, he faced resistance from many communities and tribes in Arabia. Some of his own people, the Quraysh tribe in Mecca, had rejected him and his message. Muhammad needed to secure resources, stability, and authority in order to continue spreading Islam, and that meant finding alliances and sometimes seizing wealth. In this context, Khaybar, a prosperous and strategically located oasis primarily inhabited by Jewish tribes, was seen as an important target. It was a wealthy, independent community that held valuable resources, and its neutrality or lack of allegiance posed a potential threat to Muhammad's efforts to consolidate influence in the region. So they attacked the Jewish tribes living there in what is known today as the Battle of Khaybar. And these Jews, they lost everything. They lost their lands, their rights, and their security. Those who survived were only allowed to stay if they agreed to pay tax on their own land. Their freedom was gone, and their lives were no longer their own. So when you hear people chanting Khaybar, Khaybar, they're not chanting about peace, justice, or human rights. They're celebrating a massacre. Think about it. If any other group chanted in celebration of massacring other people, they would have been condemned. Yet somehow, Khaybar is tolerated, dismissed as political expression. But here's the truth. Khaybar is not about land or justice. It's about erasing the Jews. It's not just directed at Israel or Zionists like they would want you to believe. It's directed at Jews. The people who chant Khaybar are not calling for a free Palestine. They're calling for a world without Jews, wherever they are. And let me add some perspective here. In Israel, Muslims have freedom. They are doctors, teachers, politicians, and business owners. They worship freely and live in a society that respects their rights. Israel is a country where Jews and Arabs live side by side. Meanwhile, in many neighboring Muslim-majority countries, Jews were forced out. Synagogues were destroyed, Jewish history erased, and today there's barely a trace of Jewish life left in those lands. The chant of Khaybar represents the desire to, first of all, erase the Jewish people, but also to erase any safe haven for them. In fact, it was never about land or borders. It's always been about wiping out Jewish identity. But the Jewish people and Israel have moved forward. They have built a resilient society, one where they can live without fear of being driven out. And while some may still cling to Khaybar, dreaming of a world without Jews, Israel stands strong as a beacon of freedom, a refuge for those who have faced centuries of hate. So let's be absolutely clear. Israel is not going anywhere. It's a safe haven for the Jews and everyone else who wish to live in peace. And you know, those who chant Khaybar may wish otherwise, but their hatred is outdated. And Israel doesn't need to apologize for existing, for being strong, and for defending itself. There you go. This is the real meaning behind the chant Khaybar, Khaybar, Ya Yahud. You know, the mainstream media is trying to suppress the truth. So I would ask you to please share this video. Share the truth. Let the world know. Together we have the power to educate people. And of course, don't forget to stay connected. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to never miss any important update.
Islam oppressing and murdering Jews started when? With the founding of the religion. It started with Muhammad himself. That's what you learn from this. And that's what people are chanting at Palestinian rallies. Is that who you want to be standing shoulder to shoulder with?